10 random magic cards rated day 148. If I move my mic, you can see a chicken on the couch. You see her back there? See that chicken on that couch right there? Let's see what we get today. I'm gonna make sure you can still see the chicken. This is I've hit the wrong button. I hit advanced search when I should have hit random. This is a Carfell Kennel Master from Kaldheim. Just the original Kaldheim? I don't remember ever having seen this card in my entire life, which is weird because I like Kaldheim. 5 mana, 4 and a black for a 4/4 zombie berserker. When it enters the battlefield, up to 2 target creatures each get +1/+0 and gain indestructible until end of turn. Pretty drafty there, bud. 2.4 for Carfell Kennel Master. Next is I like Dragon Fodder. This is originally printed in Shards of Alara. 2 mana, 1 and a red for a sorcery that puts 2 1/1 red goblin creature tokens into play onto the battlefield on your side. Just solid. Solid. It's no resolute reinforcements. You can't like blink or return to your hand one of them and get the ability over again. But, effects like this are always, again, just basically solid. So I'll give it a 4.2. I really will. I think Dragon Fodder is good, especially considering they're goblins. The fact they're goblins, I think, makes this better than the average, like, 2 mana for 2 guys kind of thing. So I could even give it a 4.4 and sleep at night, But next is Adamant Will from Dominaria over here. This is 2 mana, 1 and a white for an instant. Target creature gets +2/+2, gains indestructible till end of turn. So pretty, basic sort of save your guy effect here. This is also just recently printed in Foundations, which I'm not sure that I was aware of. Note that some of these Foundations cards are like more expensive from Foundations by a lot than anywhere else. And I don't think that's going to hold for very long. But if you think about it, Adamant Will is actually kind of a good, effect for some of these like Boros aggro decks to play, the ones that play Shard Mage's Rescue, sometimes Sheltered by Ghosts and stuff like that. But they also have, the mono red package like Heartfire Hero, Cacophony Scamp on occasion. They have like Monastery Swift Spear, Slick Shot, those creatures. And Adamant Will does cost 2 mana, which is more than you really want to pay for a combat trick like this or to save your guy. But, a lot of the times your guys get targeted by removal either going into combat or during combat. And being able to shrug off a removal spell and, plus it's also +2/+2, plus the Valiant from Heartfire Hero. You know what I mean? Like that would do a lot more damage and really plow through removal spells. So I think it might be worth looking at. But all that said, I'm not going to give the card more than like a 3.75. 3.75. No, I'll go 3.82 for Adamant Will because it's little things like that truly make all the difference in this series. Next up is Zephyr Boots from Strixhaven over here. This is a single mana for an equipment that equips for 2. The equipped creature has flying, and whenever an equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you get to loot. So draw a card and then discard a card. So not the worst thing I've ever seen. I'll say that much, but also a little bit ho-hum, right? But I'll take equipped creature has flying. Sometimes I'll just take that. It's not terrible, but I'll give the card I'm really in the 3.8s today, aren't I? It's a little less than that though. I'll give this card a 3.5. I'll do that. And move on to Loxodon Partisan. I wonder which side of the aisle he's on. This was originally printed in Mirrodin Besieged. 5 mana, 4 and a white for a 3/4 elephant soldier with Battle Cry. Man, yeah, Battle Cry is that old of an ability. Can you believe it? Whenever this creature attacks, each other attacking creature gets +1/+0 till end of turn. That was a good one to bring back. It really was simple. Very simple ability. Kind of an anthem effect. But this one, in general, is not very good. It is super drafty. Not a good card. So, 2.2 for this guy. We'll move on to Skursdag Flayer over here. Yeah, we've had a good week all week. Today we're getting the stinkers. I kind of like that. We needed it. This is only ever printed in Dark Ascension. Skursdag Flayer is 2 mana, 1 and a black for a 1/1 human cleric. You can pay 3 and a black and tap him and sack a human to destroy target creature. That's by Skursdag Flayer. This seems like a card I've heard of. I feel like I've heard this, grouping of words put together in my life and have never really looked at the card, I was temporarily on break during Dark Ascension. During the first Innistrad set block, I was on break. So it kind of makes sense I hadn't... No. Yeah, it does. It kind of makes sense I hadn't seen this card. I was thinking it was from a different set for a second. For a second, I was like, was the channel on? Was the channel out when Dark Ascension came out? No, it was not. God. It's kind of tough, guys. That's kind of tough. I actually really like this, and I want to play it in Commander, but 4 mana is too much, right? 4 mana for this activated ability is kind of nuts, so it's probably worse than I think it is. I'm going to give this card a solid, 4, though. I really am. I want to sack humans, right? I'm aristocrats. I want to sack humans. And destroy a creature, dude. Instant speed, too. It's not relegated to sorcery speed or anything. I don't know, dude. There's something there. Something there. Unexplained Absence from Murders of Karlov Manor's up next. This is not some special version of the card. It just has this art. Good job, Rocky Chin. This is 4 mana, 3 and a white for an instant. For each player, exile up to 1 target non-land permanent that player controls. For each permanent exiled this way, its controller cloaks the top card of their library. Oh my god. So for 4 mana, you just get to blow up 3 things? Any non-land permanent? How's that not busted? You can cloak a card too if you want to blow up one of your things. It could be like a token or something. You get a 2/2. Yeah, that's good extra value. But what I'm looking at here is 4 mana at instant speed. This could be a sorcery, but at instant speed, you just get to target the 3 best things on the table. Per player at least. Each player's best thing. It's only 27 cents, man. I wonder what this looks like in foil, too. I bet it looks so sick in foil, man. I kind of want it. I've never seen this. This is from Murders of Karlov Manor Commander. And this is my first time really seeing this card. I feel like I would remember the art if nothing else. But, how is this not popping off, man? Not even it doesn't just say creature. Exile a non-land permanent. Exile the best thing each player has. That seems so good. What am I missing? Yeah, they get a 2/2, but okay. It's who actually cares, dude? I think this is great. 5.6. I'm restricting myself to a 5.6. I actually want to give it more than that. Am I nuts, guys? Tell me if I'm just a big dumb idiot or something, but that seems pretty good. I'll move on to Knight of Cliffhaven. Oh boy, it levels up. This is from Rise of Eldrazi. 2 mana, 1 and a white for a core knight. That rhymes. You can level this up for 3 mana. Now, it starts life as just a 2 mana 2/2. But once it gets to... well, actually, no. I'm wrong about that. It starts life as a 2 mana 2/2. You level it up 1 time, and it becomes a 2/3. So from levels 1 to 3, it's a 2/3 flyer. On levels 4+, it's now a 4/4 flying vigilance. So how much mana am I paying for a Sarah Angel at the end of the day? Let's actually do some math here. So 5 mana to make it a 2/3 flyer. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So what is that? 14? Is that actually 14? Am I right about that? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, 14 mana to make it a freaking Sarah Angel. That's so bad. That's terrible, man. 5 mana for a 2/3 flyer, ugh, yuck. 1.7. And I know it's versatile and it's a mana sink. I don't care. This card looks terrible. But we'll move on to Thieving Skydiver. This is much better. This card's awesome. 2 mana, 1 and a blue for a 2/1 Merfolk Rogue with kicker X. X cannot be 0. Flying. When Thieving Skydiver enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, gain control of target artifact with converted mana cost X or less. If that artifact is an equipment, attach it to Thieving Skydiver, which is really cool, by the way. You can grab their Colossus Hammer or their sword or something, equip it immediately. Very cute. I feel like if X could be 0 rather, then this would be playable in vintage. You know what I mean? To grab Moxen and stuff like that, but it can't. That said, I have always loved this card. It's a shame that it's only 16 cents because I do think it's quite Commander playable. For 3 mana, I get a 2/1 flyer and steal a Soul Ring from a player. Seems okay, So I'm actually going to give Skydiver a 5.1 here. I think it's unsung, It's a card that doesn't get enough credit. On any commander table, you can find something to steal with this. And, 2-1 flyer. It's pretty good. So I like the card. But next is Belligerent Brontodon. This is from Ixalan. Belligerent Brontodon from Ixalan. 7 mana, 5, a green and a white for a 4/6 dinosaur. Each creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power, baby. There's no other cards in Magic history that do this. There's like 7 other cards. One of them can be your commander. I think a couple of them can, actually, but Arcadie's the strategist, the one everyone uses. But I guess there's also like Rolling Stones and Fecund Green Shell and stuff. There's a bunch. There's like so many. Something Assault. I forget what it's called. Something. There's a green card, costs 2 mana. Either way, I can't name them all. What is it called? I'm not doing good on my recall this week. I feel like I'm losing it slightly. Normally I'd be able to do this super easy, but my recall is failing me this week. I got to drink some coffee. Synapses just aren't firing. This is the most expensive version of this effect, so it's just not great. I will give it, after all of that, I will give it a 3. I'll just throw a 3 on it, and it doesn't deserve that, but I'm going to give it to him because I like this ability. But next is Plummet. Oh boy, what do you give Plummet? This originally printed in Arch Enemy, apparently. But, we know it from core sets like Magic 11, Magic 12, Magic 13, Magic 14. They just printed in every core set because it's good, man. 2 mana, 1 and a green, and instant speed to destroy a creature with flying. Perennial pre-release sideboard card that you need to remember is in your sideboard of your sealed pool. But has, seen some sparing play throughout time in real, actual sideboards and constructed play. Plummet, I have to give, I think there are people out there that watch the series and they vie for cards like Plummet and Cancel. Cancel's one that I've heard a couple of times. They vie for those cards to be the example of a 5. A normal, basic, average Magic card. The definition of an average Magic card. But I think the average Magic card is better than Plummet. I think the average Plummet effect is better than Plummet nowadays. Are you going to play this? Or are you going to play Paw Patch Formation? Which one are you actually? Come on, right? So Plummet's just not as good as it used to be. Cancel's not as good as it used to be. And because Cancel used to be like halfway playable. There was a time where you could play a card like Cancel and Stand. Can't do it anymore. Wouldn't be caught dead doing it. And I think Plummet's kind of the same way. So I'll give the card the same score I'd give a card like Cancel, which is like a 4. Something like that. But we'll move on to the final card of the day. Already? How did that happen? This is Outbreak. 4 mana, 3 and a black for a sorcery. This originally and only printed in Prophecy. So get ready for a card that might not be too great. Prophecy's like that. Discard a swamp from your hand instead of paying Outbreak's mana cost. Choose a creature type. All creatures of that type get -1/-1 till end of turn. Actually, this card's okay. If it were an instant, I think it'd be way better if you could play it during combat or whatever. But it's effectively an Engineered Plague. Engineered Plague's an enchantment, which just makes it way better. But the fact that you can play this for free, in the cycle, it's in the same cycle as Foil from Prophecy. The fact you can play this for free, I think makes it a lot better, man. And discarding a swamp is not too much to ask most of the time, right? So actually, I'm going to give this card a higher score than I expected to when I first saw the Prophecy on it. I have seen this card before and completely forgot it existed. 100% forgot this card existed. So I'm going to have to give this awesome Quentin Hoover art, by the way. Got to point out, anytime you see good Quentin Hoover, which is every time you see Quentin Hoover, got to point it out. This is RIP to a great one. This is actually okay, man. 5. See, I think the average Magic card is actually pretty good nowadays. I'm going to give this a 5 to end Wednesday's batch, and I'll see you bright and early on Thursday. Report for duty. Love you guys. Bye.